What's up everybody, Born Hero here, and I'm coming to you with another tutorial. So today we're going to be making a Lil Peep type beat, and I know you guys all really like the other one, and it's been a really long time since I made a tutorial, so I thought now is a great time to make one. So we're just going to get right into this. We have 3 guitars here. It's the same guitar. It's Ample Guitar TC, and you can use any guitar VST. You can grab like a direct input free VST where somebody was picking each note. It just depends on the amount of samples that they have for the VST instrument or contact library. You got to make sure that it sounds all right and not too metallic, because a lot of them can sound really metallic. So yeah, just get a direct input, and then you can get an amp sim emulator for free as well, and then you can use that, because all we're really doing here is picking guitar, and it's not super detailed as if like if I was doing strumming guitar, it would be a lot more detailed, because it's kind of hard to make that sound realistic with the VST. So let's get right into this. So I open up the piano roll, and what we're going to do first is we're going to grab a minor key. So we're going to go to D minor natural. So you can get you can click ghost channels on, and no, actually it's note grid highlights, and then you can pick the scale, and it'll pop up right here with the light notes. So I'm sure most of you know this, but if we go D to D, our scale is D, E, F, G, A sharp, C, back to D again with the octave. So that's our key, the light notes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out writing a chord progression. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to follow the bass notes. And before I started this video, actually, I tapped out of tempo. So if you click up at the top of FL Studio, there's a number right there. 130 is what it naturally starts at. You click tap and just think of kind of like a slower tempo in your head. It's the speed of the beat, and just tap it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So yeah, we're gonna follow the bass notes first. So we're gonna do D, because that's the root note of the scale. G, I like G, but I don't want to keep going up, because if we go up, then it's kind of less sad, I would say. So we kind of want something emotional and beautiful. So we're gonna go D, G, F, and then the half step right here is good. If you really want to create a like emotional dissonance, the F to E is or any note that's like half step is really nice. So we're gonna start building chords on these, and the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna skip every other note in the scale, starting from the bottom notes. And I realize we're gonna run into a problem really quick here. So at this E, this is a diminished chord. And I'll show you what the diminished chord sounds like, but it's not a sound that it's not a sound that I think I want right now. It's got more of a classical sound. It's very dissonant, so I'll play that for you. Yeah, I just don't like that. A sharp. So I'm gonna bring this up to here. And something I notice about a lot of producers who use VST guitars to make beats, I want to tell you something about how the guitar is. So the guitar has a normal guitar has 6 strings, right? So the 6 strings would be the intervals would be kind of in octaves. So playing a guitar like this is just kind of unnatural. What I would do is I would take the middle notes. Honestly, you could take any of the notes and move them up an octave. So if you move it up an octave, then that's kind of more of a natural sound to the actual guitar. So let's think about strumming an open chord. The notes realistically would kind of probably look like this. So you would go, so if we're doing a D major or D minor, we'd go to A, the 5th, and then we'd have another D right here. And then we'd have the F, then we have the A again, and then we'd probably have another D again. So that's six strings, and that's what the chord would sound like a natural open chord. So keep that in mind when you're writing your chords. try to be more natural to the guitar. So I'll play that. Yeah, I mean, it didn't sound that great just because I didn't space it out right, but that doesn't matter. Oops, hold on. So yeah, the whole point is to just kind of get that natural tone. So you don't necessarily have to do that every time because it's very possible to play the notes close together like that. I just think it sounds better this way. So we have our chord progression here. And I really like that. Wow, it's beautiful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it so as if like the strings are getting picked separate, like in a rhythm. And this kind of makes it more melodic. And you kind of want your notes to overlap a little bit because that's like emulating the strings ringing out. And it'll sound more real. So if we click the wrench tool, we click randomize up at the top. You see that wrench? We can mess with the velocities to make it sound even more natural. So let me actually select it all. Randomize velocity. There we go. It'll sound, you know, a little bit more real. All right, cool. So that's our chord progression. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to a second guitar because playing an octave up melody, which also is very possible to do while you're playing chords, kind of harder to emulate in a VST. If I started putting a bunch of notes on top of here, it would start to cut off the notes and it just wouldn't sound right. It would just kind of sound a little awful. These notes wouldn't ring out and have that natural tone to them. So we're going to start with the second guitar, and I'm just going to write a melody here. There's really no rules to this. You kind of want to pay attention to like the note relationships though from the chords to the melody. And have a balance, you know, with notes that are in the chords versus notes that aren't in the chords. So yeah, I'm just going to do this real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so this is what I came up with. So keep in mind a few notes. A few notes, that's funny. Keep in mind like a few notes in your head. Don't be afraid to repeat the same notes. I see a lot of melodies where people are like, which is okay, you know, but you don't necessarily have to always pick a different note every time while you're making a melody. You can kind of space it out, give it its own rhythm, you know, kind of play back and forth with the idea of like what's happening under it. So let's say if all the chords were being strummed and they were stationary, then you could probably like delay the notes a little bit to start. But since they're being like picked like that, then I can start the melody right on the start of the bar. So yeah, this is a very simple melody. All right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a little bit of a synth here or a pad. And I'm just going to follow the chords. Right. So, and then I'm going to put it up an octave because it sounds a little low. Yeah, I really, really like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay a basic 808 pattern. And I'm going to follow the bottom notes of the chords. Alright, I'm going to put the snare in and then we'll put the kick. Turn up the 808. Kick in. Boom, boom. we'll just do a little kick roll at the end here. Put the hi-hat in, turn this down a little. And then by this point you should kind of have a hi-hat rhythm in your head. So I was kind of messing around with a bunch of different hi-hat patterns, but I realized that you gotta keep it simple. So I just kept it simple, just kind of repeated a couple notes, you know, nothing really crazy. But you know, if I spent more time, then I'd probably go a little bit more crazy with it, but this is what I came up with. Right, so now I'm just gonna add the low hat, right? Every 4 steps, ride every 8 steps, and I'm gonna add open hat. Turn down that ride a lot. And we're gonna have this right before the next snare. There we go. So we got our beat all laid out, and now it's time to arrange it. So I'm going to do a really quick arrangement. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it, but we will talk about it and some kind of theories and observations and ideas to maybe help you. So I will be right back after I arrange this. So what I did was I right-clicked the channel, which is right above the time at the top of the FL screen, and then you click split by channel. So you go, you know, so let's say this is new beat number 3 guitar. If I go to the top, it'll say the same thing, right click, split by channel. So the idea is to build energy and break it. So that's just what I'm going to do here. So I don't have a lot of melodic stuff, so it might be a little bit tougher to arrange this, but I'm going to try. All right, everybody, so I finished the arrangement, and I'll show you that right now. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check the description because I have another channel out that is going to be mostly all tutorials and like little fun challenges and stuff like that revolving music. So if you like this content, make sure you go check out that other channel. There's going to be a bunch of content on there. Anyways, here is the final arrangement. I didn't really mix it. I just kind of high passed the guitar, and I added some distortion to the bass. Really nothing too crazy. All right, so let's check it out. Last thing I want to mention is this bridge. So all I did was I found the relative major of the D minor key, which is F major, and then I just wrote a chord progression from there, choosing different chords than the main progression. And there's a million ways you could do that. There's a million ways you could write a bridge, but I felt like that was a nice, effective way to change the mood dramatically before the last hook. So just to vary things up, to keep it from getting too repetitive. All right, so thank you all for watching. I love you very much. Have a beautiful day.